So, I said in a previous episode that I was looking forward to checking out more of Robert Pattinson's work after seeing him in The Devil All the Time. He was the pedophile preacher in that, and I just thought he did an amazing job. I heard plenty of praise for his acting, but I never really watched anything, like, besides maybe the Twilight films. I never saw any of his indie work, all the stuff that people praise. And we all know that next year, he's going to be the new Batman, so I really want to dig in and see what kind of acting chops this guy really has. So that was the plan, like, a month ago, to go find Robert Pattinson films, but I forgot all about it, to be honest. And I'm not even really sure how I found this. It was kind of by accident. I wasn't searching for Robert Pattinson films. I think I just was going down a rabbit hole of, like, looking at movies that I liked, and then, you know, you go underneath and it tells you, like, recommended movies that are similar, and then you click on one of those, and then you just go deeper and deeper and end up finding a bunch of obscure stuff that a lot of people haven't even seen. So I was doing that, and I came across this movie, this 2017 film called Good Time. And I am so glad that I went down this rabbit hole. So the film is directed by the Safdie brothers, who they also made Uncut Gems just last year in 2019, which I thought that was amazing too. That starring Adam Sandler. It's on Netflix now as well, so you should check that out if you like this movie, or if you like Uncut Gems, vice versa. Like, see the other film because they're pretty similar in a lot of ways in terms of feel. So yeah. That's another rabbit hole there. You can just dig into Safdie Brothers films. Anyway, I loved the way this film was shot. You know, it was beautiful. It was dark and gritty. I loved it. It was awesome. Uncut Gems as well. Like, similar, crazy, anxiety-ridden, chaotic feel. I loved it. All right. Now, getting into this movie. So the first thing that I noticed about the movie, something that stuck out right away, was the score. I loved the music in this movie. It was like 80s synthwave or something, like something that I didn't even know was a thing until a couple years ago. I didn't know it was a genre of music, but if you don't know what it is, just imagine music from the 1980s and early 90s video games. You know, that background music that was always playing in those, like, 2D type video games? That is synthwave, my friends. So this movie was, like, chock full of synthwave, like, all the way through. Had a very 80s feel. I don't know about, like, I don't think the timeline was 80s. I don't think it was supposed to be set in the 80s. But something about that feel, it made it, like, just that much more gritty and, like, I don't know how else to describe it. Dark. So, the only thing in the description of this movie tells you is, here's the description. It says, a man is frantically trying to get his mentally disabled brother out of jail. So, when I read that, I'm, like, picturing some sort of courtroom drama or investigation story. But no, that is not this film at all. In fact, you know what this movie reminded me of? It's another kind of obscure film. It's just like the pacing and the feel of this reminded me very strongly of a film that's actually my favorite Paul Walker film. It's called Running Scared. It's got similar kind of plot points. It's like a crime drama where this guy's frantically trying to do something in the span of one night, and everywhere he goes and everything he does is just complete insanity. This movie, much like Running Scared, was fast-paced and, like, anxiety-ridden story of, like, this real piece of shit named Connie, played by Robert Pattinson, whose brother is in jail. His mentally handicapped brother, right? Played by Benny Safdie, who's one of the writer-directors of the movie. So he's trying to get his brother out of jail because he conned his brother into committing serious crimes with him. And while he got away, his brother was caught and put in jail. So at first he's trying to like con people out of enough money to post his brother's bail. But then that fails and he moves on very quickly to another plan. This dude that Connie, that Robert Pattinson plays, he's incredibly good at thinking on his feet. Like, he just goes from person to person scamming and conning. Like, it's ridiculous. So at some point, his brother ends up in the hospital. And so, like, he got in a fight in jail and was brutally beaten. And so now he's not only trying to get his brother out of jail, he's literally trying to break him out of police custody now. So another thing about this main character is he's like a complete narcissist sociopath. He seems to be very clever, very skilled criminally, manipulating people, and he does it so seamlessly from person to person throughout the movie. This guy, Connie character, he finds himself in crazy situation after crazy situation. And every bit of it is his own fault. But like the most insane thing is how he manages to get out of each situation. I mean, it'll have you going like, oh no, oh Jesus. Like, there are definitely some crazy twists and turns that you do not see coming. And that it makes the story grow more and more interesting as the movie goes along. Now, obviously, he's not a complete sociopath because he seems to care about getting his brother out of jail. You know, it's like more than anything in this movie, like that is his main goal. So, I mean, he's not 100% self-centered. But he really fucks over a lot of people and manipulates a lot of strangers throughout the process of trying to break his brother out of the hospital. All right, well, I don't want to go into all of the details because if you haven't seen this movie, I think it should be an experience. Like, I don't want to tell you everything that happens. I want you to experience it for yourself. Because there's a lot of surprises along the way, but dude, I really, if you can't tell by the tone of my voice, I really enjoyed this film. I was saying in my review of The Devil All the Time how much I enjoy story and drama in film, and how like throughout my life that has changed. Like, as I've gotten older, I've leaned kind of away from the nonstop action stuff that I liked growing up, and then like fully leaned into dramatic films, like stuff that require like a high level of acting skill to pull off. And this movie and this acting by Robert Pattinson did not disappoint. I am so glad I watched it. Highly, highly recommend it. It's a wild, insane story. I have to give kudos to the writer and director of this film, or actually their brothers who wrote and directed it, the Safdie brothers. And on top of that, awesome acting by Robert Pattinson. Now I seriously can't wait to check out more of his films and more films by the Safdie brothers. If you guys have any recommendations for Robert Pattinson films, like stuff that really showcases his acting talent, please let me know in the comments. And if you're listening to this in like a podcast form and not on YouTube, then hit me up on Twitter or Instagram at RealBrettScott and just drop me a line there. I'd love to dig into some Robert Pattinson films, but you know, I don't have time to dig into them all right now. But if I could just get a few that have like really amazing, I don't know, stuff. I want to see movies that he is really, really good in. Like, if you wanted to impress someone by saying like, hey man, you want to see good acting? That's the film I want you to recommend. All right. Okay. So, if you enjoy podcasts like this, videos like this, where I talk about random topics, here's what I do. On this channel, I like to pick a random topic each day, break things down, review it, and give my perspective. Like, most of the time, it's entertainment or pop culture related, but Every now and then, I delve into other subjects. Sometimes I just tell interesting stories from my questionable youth. If that sounds like something you can vibe with, then please subscribe to Daily BS on YouTube or follow or favorite on your favorite podcasting app. Just search Daily BS. And if you decide to stick around, if you decide to subscribe, if you decide to follow, then I will talk to you again tomorrow. Later.